Maureen Kamari of Amari Baking Center, and today I want to show you guys how to bake a cake at home. Especially if you have never baked in your life, this is a really good and easy recipe and a really easy method for you to bake at home. So I'm just going to assume that you have bowls in your kitchen and you have the ingredients. The one thing that you definitely need when you're baking is a set of measuring tools like these. You definitely have to get these because you actually need to have a standard set of measuring your equipment. So I'll leave a link below on where you can get this set of cups. Other than that, you can actually use a sufuria as a pan. You can use a mwiko for mixing, and you can just use your regular bowls in your kitchen. So once you have the ingredients and the recipe is shared below, you can just mix it easily like I'm just gonna show you right now. Bowl, I want you to use a half cup, and you're gonna use this cup because it has half cup written on it, and you're gonna measure a half cup of cooking oil and a half cup of sugar. Now you can still use butter or margarine in this, but I'm giving you the simplest way, which would be to use cooking oil. So cooking oil in here, I have sugar, and I have 1 egg. Now this is a kind of recipe that's really easy. If you want it to be even better and softer, please use 2 eggs, but I'm making it simple and we have 1 egg in there. Now I want to show you guys. Generally we want to use something like this that's called a whisk. You can get it at, I'll share the link on where you can get it. But assuming you don't have one, you can actually just use a flat spatula like this, or just a mwiko, and you just mix it up like this. You just want to mix up until everything comes together. Just mix it up like that. Just to show you how much easier it is when you have a whisk, really quick. And of course, guys, if you have a mixer, this is where you'd use your mixer, okay? After that, you need to measure your dry ingredients. So really quick, I'm gonna show you guys how to actually measure your dry ingredients, just so you know. When you're using the cups, you don't wanna scoop into the cup. You actually wanna, you don't wanna pack the ingredients into the cup. You wanna use a spoon, and then you use the flat part of a knife to actually do that, guys, okay? And you place it in a bowl. So you're gonna do the same for the next cup as well. Remember, don't pack these ingredients in here. If you do, it'll give you a bad measurement. So you just wanna actually do that. So 1.5 cups. Then I'm gonna put baking powder. Now I'm using all-purpose flour. And I'll share the link, I'll share the details on if you're using self-rising flour, which you can still use. So that's how I measure my 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And as you can see, I'm using the standard set that I showed you guys. So once you measure your 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, all you gotta do is mix it up like this. So after this, I'm just gonna pour it into my bowl of oil and the other ingredients and mix it up. Now I'm gonna pour all the dry ingredients in there, and then I'm gonna measure a half cup of milk, and I'm gonna pour it all inside. Then you mix with your mwiko or your whisk. Now all you gotta do is keep mixing. If possible, keep it towards one direction. Like, let me just choose this direction. And guys, if you want, you can actually add mixed spices like 1 teaspoon or even just some cinnamon. And then you just mix it up. You want to mix it up until it's nice and smooth. Now when we're baking, we call this an all-in-one method. This is when you mix everything and you just put it all into a bowl and you mix everything together. Your batter should be nice and smooth like this. Usually you can use a sufuria. I'll show you a pan cake baked with a sufuria, but you want to grease the pan like this. If you have any kind of pan, you want to grease it like this, and then you want to dust it. Now that means you put in flour in there, and then you mix it up like this, and then you remove excess, and this is how it should look like. scrape this. Alright guys, so this is a cake that has come out baked the same exact way, except for this one I added a teaspoon of cinnamon so it looks really nice and spicy. So if you want to make it interesting, add some spices. Now you can just take a knife, remove it and let it cool for 5 to 10 minutes. Then you can use a knife to loosen your cake a little bit like this. And then we're gonna just overturn it. So you see, that bakes really nicely. As long as it's a hard sufuria, you're good to go. And now I'm gonna flip this over and there is my cake, guys. So this is a cake I just baked with the method that I showed you. But if you really wanna be a proficient baker, there are certain methods that you can actually use to make your cake softer and fluffy. So for this one, I used a creaming and folding method. Maybe some of you may have heard of it, and I just wanna show you the same exact recipe with this cake and how it looks like. So I'm gonna cut into both of them. So this is made with butter or margarine, and that's how it looks like, guys. Nice and fluffy and soft. Now this one is also nice and soft, but it tends to be slightly dense. But at least the cake is still at least really nice. So if you're at home, you can actually just mix it up like that. It comes out really nice and moist. It doesn't get as much height, but at least it's still nice and tastes really good, guys. But if you look at this, there's a slight difference. It looks a little smoother and it has a little bit more fluffiness. And this is a different method used, creaming and folding. If you know how to do it, you can do it with this recipe. But we're offering online classes, so if you're interested, you can join us for those classes. Alright guys, I hope you're able to make a cake at home. If you try it at home and you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I'll help out the best I can. We'll be offering a class on cake making and decoration, so if you're interested, I've shared details below. Just reach out to us and I'll give you details on how to join the online class. So I'll see you guys next time. Happy caking!